COP29 outcomes in Baku, and the decision made and the pledge made by 2035 regarding the 100 billion.
Why is this so important that we hold on to this process despite maybe its lack of speed or some flaws, in these large negotiations? We as companies, we as investors, we need the countries to come to really robust agreements and then very quickly turn those into national laws, because that gives us a reliable and a conducive environment where we can actually go create bankable projects, invest, where we all have the same direction, we all have the same targets, whether we're a company or whether we're an investor, and we can then channel funding accordingly. So these the pledges to me are important because they signal something, but much more important to me than the pledges is the actual projects, the actual work, the actual day-to-day deals that we can do where money really goes, not talking about 5 years, 10 years, 20 years later, but really where we can start today to channel funding where this is obviously badly needed.
Where does the European wind industry stand today in terms of new installations and investments, and how realistic is it that we can reach those 2030 targets that I mentioned? And also, beyond the volumes, what do you see as the biggest bottlenecks?
We are not building enough. Why are we not building enough? 3 main problems. Permitting is still slow. Most countries in Europe are not implementing the excellent new EU rules to speed up permitting. Those few countries that are actually seeing spectacular results. So Germany, they're implementing the rules. They are permitting 7 times as much onshore wind as they were 5 years ago. Second problem is the slow build out of electricity grids, and this is affecting both offshore and onshore wind. Third problem is the slow pace of electrification of the energy system. Electricity is still only 23% of all of energy consumption in Europe. It's meant to be 3/4 by 2050, and we're not making any progress at all. China is. They've way overtaken Europe on electrification now. 30% of their energy is now electric. And this slow pace of electrification is holding up the demand for electricity, it's holding up the demand for wind power. And so wind farm investments that we were going to make, and we were assuming there would be demand for electricity, some of those investments we're now putting on hold, both offshore and onshore.
Safia asked, could we create a water credit market to encourage efficient resource management?
Where humans use water as a commodity, or water credits as a commodity to buy and sell water, because there should be access to it. But as a mechanism to replenish water, where companies are taking water under science-based targets for nature, companies that are taking water out of a local system, it could be anything from data center operators to sneakers, sportswear manufacturers that use water that requires a lot of water. They can purchase water credits as a financing mechanism to put water back into cities. And there's at least some initiatives with water credits underway.
Thank you, Tomas and Giles, Maya, this amazing panel today. Until then, I will say to our attendees, the discussion and the conversation don't have to stop here. You can connect to our guests through LinkedIn and continue asking your question, and they will do their best to respond to it and address it.